Hey everybody, Jeff from Coleus inside the greenhouse. The weather's been really crazy, back and forth, rain, raw, a little bit sunny, humid. Obviously, it's going to feel humid out if it's been raining because all the evaporation, especially back here. I like to think of I designed my backyard to be like a little mini rainforest. I have a pretty big garden of all different types of plants and so forth. The grass is growing. So anyway, today we got a little break of the weather. It's cloudy, humid, in the upper 60s. It feels warm, but still need a little sweatshirt. So there's that breeze coming in off the water. So anyway, I'm going to do some potting today. Got to do a little at a time. At this point, there's no relaxation for me. I'll have to keep up on these, and I got my farmers market coming up in a month. So we need to get these into pots. I got a lot potted, more to come. So today I'm going to be potting up some of the wizard roses. That's why I wanted to make sure I have a lot of wizard rose pots because they're beautiful. And I'm going to get some mosaics potted in, a few other ones. Got a nice mixture. So let's take a look. I'll show you before we leave a quick rundown on how everything's doing in here. Everything is really overnight with the heater and the humidity. It's just been really optimal growing conditions, and the real warm weather hasn't set in yet, which it really goes crazy. And we're going to get into that too on when the really hot weather comes and how to fertilize correctly. So stay tuned. I got lots of little tips that you can jot down and remember and learn from every year. And don't worry about making mistakes, losing plants. I've done it. There's so much learning, and the only way you really learn is by making mistakes. So don't feel bad. Coleus are so easy to grow. You grow a bunch of them and you learn from your mistakes and have lots of fun. Don't let it become stress. Don't let it become work, because once you start getting like that, then it's not enjoyable and you're not going to want to do it. So we're supposed to have fun. So let's go and take a look at these beautiful, beautiful Coleus, and more to come. So stay tuned. Jim's Coleus here. Okay. So as you can see, like I said, it's an overcast out. It hasn't rained really overnight. It stopped early this morning. Landscaper came today, cut the grass, so it's real good. So I'm not bringing out the awning because it's overcast, and I got the small table out today because I'm just going to do a few today. But I wanted to get these beautiful wizard rose into these fluted pots, and I have these ovals that I'm going to do, and I have those pastel plastic. I'm going to probably get to them today too. But what I like to do sometimes is I get all my pots filled. Again, moisture control potting mix. If you live in an area that gets very your soil dries out quickly, this is good. It really helps you if you're not sure how much water. Make sure your pots are well drained. But these have the vermiculite mix in, and it's good stuff. There's a link in the video here if you're not sure about it. Get it at Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, any hardware store usually carries this in different sizes. I buy the big bags. So, but anyway, I like to get all my pots filled, and then I'll sprinkle some of the shake and feed. Again, this product will be in the link in the beginning when you see shopping. You can click on that. You can go right to it and buy it, or just go to the store and get it. Shake and feed, regular shake and feed, all purpose. You don't want to get flour food because flour food has some nutrients that Coleus don't need. Shake and feed, all purpose, general purpose plant food. And I mix a little in the soil. And of course, when we pot, and then we'll mix it in and then water each one. Here we are. You know, I love these. I mean, they are just such beautiful, beautiful Coleus. And some of them have the white. You see some of that white coming in. And here's a photo of a Coleus in one of these fluted pots from years ago that I did, that I loved. I kept it alive and I kept rootings of it, and I'm sure, well, these aren't the seeds from that, but I have some seeds, some plants in my greenhouse that are probably from the probably offspring from that plant. But anyway, what I like to do really is here. So the already have the fertilizer mixed in. Just take a little corner out, and again, this is my way of doing it. Take a little of the corner out, and whatever. Now, I'm not going to use all of this. I'm going to pop this out, but half of it's going to... They haven't been in here terribly long, so only about, you can see half of it kind of came apart, which is actually pretty good, because that's all I really need. And again, there's no right way of doing this, but I put it in the corner. I'm going to put 2 pots, 2 Coleus in here, and it fits perfect. It's already got the fertilizer mixed in, and we'll just give it a little water. I'm not going to go crazy with the water because actually those pots are watered already, and I'm also going to put another Coleus here. But these are just really amongst my favorite Coleus. There's just the Kong families are just, they're the quintessential Coleus. Empires are huge. They're just giant leaves. These, again, these started off real slow, but they're definitely growing. And I noticed since they've moved out into the greenhouse, they just exploded. So they're really growing, and I'm expecting these to be pretty good, and getting them into other pots will definitely benefit it as well. I may do a few. Matter of fact, let's do one right now. I see one I'm going to put in by itself. And a lot of my plants, a lot of my pots, I have 2 in. So then I feel bad. I feel like I'm not ripping someone off, but I always feel like I'm shortchanging people if there's only 1 Coleus. Again, I'm going to pop it. Half of it's going to come out, and we'll put it right in the center here. Just kind of fill it in. And I'm not watering it because I already watered these, so they will get watered. So I'm not worried about fertilizer or nothing. But so you can see just how beautiful these are, and they look good with these colored fluted pots. They're plastic. I put drain holes on the bottom. Drain holes are very important, and these do not go in direct sun. These little pots will dry out, so they're never in direct sun. These are meant to go on a patio table, under an umbrella, in a window indoors. And I tell people when they buy them, they're indoor or outdoors. If you have a bright bay window, this is it. This will grow. This will do so well, and that's what they're for. This will do so well in a bright window, but not sustained full sun. These are not good full sun Coleus. They like bright light, and I've said this before in a lot of my Coleus, my other videos, moderation, a little bit of sun in the morning, afternoon sun, give them some shade, water, you don't want a lot of water, and fertilize every 10 days or so. You have your mix, unless you have the mix-in fertilizer, you don't have to buy the liquid fertilizer. I like to use it on my bigger plants once they're established, like this one here. This is a plant from last year, and I water it every 10 days with liquid fertilizer because it really needs it. The pellet fertilizer has already been spent at that point, and you need to fertilize these. But isn't that beautiful? And then we're going to put another Coleus on this side. Now I want to find a Coleus that's close to that size. That's the other issue when you're making pots up. These generally grow a little slow, so the Coleus I'm going to put in here needs to be close to this size or smaller, so you don't want the other one to overtake this Coleus. So I'm not going to be planting all of my wizard roses today because the others still need to grow a little more. So let's go in the greenhouse, There we go. I think we should zoom out. Where do we start? Let's start with the hanging baskets. And of course, this time of year, it's nothing but landscape blowers constantly all day long. Everybody's getting their lawns done. So you can see, I don't know, hey, look, this to me looks like it's grown over the past few days. Let's take one down. Here's that double mosaic. Just think, I mean, this is just a week now. Just think how this is going to fill out. And they're so light, too. That's what I like about them. How about this one here? I really like these pots. I think I'm going to order more. I really like them. How about that? Look, I don't know about you, but look at the last video I just shot when I made these up. And you tell me, did these not grow in 2 or 3 days? I think they have. Okay, let's take a look at this one here. These are very light, but yeah, you can see this is little jitters. This is definitely grown. And as they grow, if you see how that leaf is pushing against that one there, I'm going to trim that. So that's how you sort of maintain your Coleus hanging basket. See what's going on as it develops, and if you see a leaf impeding onto another one, trim that leaf, let it fill, and then just like a sculptor, you're like a sculptor and sculpt your hanging basket. That's going to trim. That trimming will promote the bottom growth, and it'll cause the Coleus to grow nice and symmetrically, and it'll be healthier for the Coleus. Look at all that undergrowth coming in. Okay, and there's the Christmas candy and the jade. A lot of growth coming in the bottom. So we're going to keep, I'm not trimming this yet. I may trim those 2 giant leaves up top to let everything else fill in. So I will be trimming this and that. Those 2 leaves will be gone. And that'll fill out. Because we have growth ahead of us, and that will benefit the Coleus. Get some light back down on the bottom there, and these 2 leaves, by trimming these 2 leaves, it will benefit this Coleus tremendously. So don't be afraid to trim at this point. It's a necessity. Okay, and if you remember my last video, I'm getting my little alarm message popping up on my phone that somebody's in the greenhouse, and that's me. So here we are. Here's those Saturns. And all the dark colors, you notice that if you remember my last video, I moved these over here into a brighter location to see how they do. And I think they like it, because Saturns generally like full sun. They like sun, but they're young. So these aren't necessarily in full sun, but they're in the brighter location as opposed to down here. I mean, not everybody can get the premium spot. So that's another reason why I rotate my Coleus around. And there are the little hangers. It's a little bucket. That's a nice color. And of course these are going to need to be trimmed a little bit. The little hanging buckets. They've all grown, folks. They've all grown. They're doing well. So like I said, I did find these on eBay. You can get them on Amazon, I'm sure. Just eBay definitely has them, and then search the internet. You'll be able to find them all over. They're pretty cool. But the thing is, you remember with these, they're metal buckets. You have to drill holes in the bottom. They're metal, so you can't keep them in direct sun because they'll overheat the roots. So you want to keep them in an area that gets bright sunlight and shade and water regularly, because there's not a lot of soil here. But that's a Kong red. Actually, that's a Kong rose. Kongs are very difficult sometimes. They can be confusing. I don't really lose sleep over it, But the Kong Rose are the black. They have green. The Empires are similar, but the Empires don't have that dark red, that red in the center. But the Kong Rose have the green, the black, and that red in the sliver of red in the center. That's the Kong Rose. Kong Red will have the white in it with the black. So like I said, it could be a little difficult, but I don't really worry about it. They're all beautiful. Okay, perfect example. Let me zoom in here. And look at all of the growth coming in on the bottom. I potted this last week. It was a rooting for months. And I had some more leaves up top, so I trimmed them, but I left the two up top so I can remember which one it is. Not that I have any labels. I'm sorry, Sher. You know, at least Sherry, if you know, if I get abducted by aliens and then they put someone back and he labels all his Coleus, then you know that I'm not the real thing. But anyway, the fact that all that growth is coming in means I'm doing the right thing. Some Darth Vaders, and here are the Saturn's rings. It's actually pretty humid in here. My phone is fogging up a little bit. And here are some others that I have done. This is really taking off. This is going to be this is a crimson gold. Mix. This is going to do well. You see all that growth coming in? These technically can be trimmed because they're really overtaking everything. You see all that growth coming in? So they're kind of taking over. We got lots of time. So there's another Wizard Rose that I potted a week or two ago. There's an older one. These are almost like the black cherry that I had mentioned. And there is more of like a Kong Red. Has the white, the pink, and the black. Not as much black, and the lighter green. So, Chipotle, Spitfire, some other ones. There's the rooting that I planted. Some more down here. And these, of course, have been potted for a few weeks now. And I have to bring some of these out, the pot from last week. Oh, one of my hanging baskets, because it's an older one, the hanger broke, so I have to get a new hanger for that. And of course the window box planters, which are filling out. And there's that little one. Actually, I brought this one inside because it was very windy and heavy rain the past few days, so I brought it in. I wanted to protect it. And do that if you forecast shows real heavy rains and so forth, and you can move your planter, do so, protect it. Some of them, you know, I have my larger planters. I'm lucky that we have a pretty temperate, you know, weather here in New Jersey, and I don't usually get real heavy windy rain until the fall for my larger Coleus, so I haven't had a problem with those, but they look good. And this hanging basket, I actually put this one on the ground just so we can look at it. It's a nice mix, and it's going to fill out really, really nice. Okay, so I just had a bird flying here, and he's flying around, he's looking around, so I just kind of got out, and I shooed him away, and luckily he got going. It was a little sparrow. But anyway, I guess he wanted to come in and look at these beautiful, beautiful Coleus. So here we are. I finished up for today. Tomorrow's another day. I think we're getting rain. We saw those. So here's some that I potted today. Try to do mix up a little of everything. But, you know, I have a lot of the mosaics. And I know I did one with, there we go. Did one. There's the one with the Saturn. That should look nice because I put a green, one of the green mosaics. Some of them have a really odd green. There's one I'll show you in a minute that has a very, very pronounced green compared to the others. So I put it in a pastel green planter. Let's take a look at that. So I'm not sure if this really shows up. It's pastel green. I guess next to that it will. Actually, I trimmed it, but you could see how it has that almost like an army green. But I did trim it, so there was a couple of larger leaves, and I put this nice, beautiful. It's almost like a cherry, black cherry Coleus, but you could see compared to that, it's got more of a light, almost like an army green. And there's a few others. There's one. Well, it's got a little oak tree seedling that fell on it. But these mosaics, as they grow, they really are getting cool colors. I'm happy with these this year. So, have an idea where I'm putting that on my property. Beautiful Kong red. Some fluteds. So we still got more growth to go. Some little bit of trimming we did. As you can hear, Bobo. And some more. You can see some of them really take off quickly. And then there's some more down here. So we did a lot today, and we'll hit a little tomorrow as we think of what other pots to create. Look at that pink pot. That's going to go right away. That one's not going to last. All right, Evelyn, so here, this is for you. Here are the Terranias. This is all I have left. I may or may not grow them again next year. I try to learn every year, and I still planted these way too early. They need a lot of sunlight. So these I managed to save, and they're doing real well. So they're going to really fill out. There's 6 in here. So we'll see what happens. We'll see whether or not we're going to grow them again next year. Okay, so all right, so let me get back to work. I want to finish the rest of these plants, and stay tuned. There's going to be more to come here. Jim's Coleus as I pot more varieties, and I hope you do too. I hope you're having fun with this, and I hope it's giving you ideas and so forth. So again, any questions or comments, I'm here for you. Sometimes it may get me a few days to get. It might take me a few days to answer you. I'm sorry. Mark over in England, I'm sorry, buddy. I just got to you. You sent me a whole bunch of messages. Your Coleus look fantastic, Mark. Mark, if you're new here to my channel, Mark bought some seeds from me a few years ago. He's over in England. He's set up he bought himself a beautiful professional greenhouse setup, and the weather, actually we swapped weather. We've been getting English weather over here with the rain and the overcast skies and not much sun. And he's been getting sunny, warm weather over in England. He's done really well in his last, they call them car boots over in England, flea market car boot. His Coleus look really, really nice. So good job, Mark. And I hope I answered your question about transplanting those smaller Coleus into pots. Those pots are similar to these. So you can actually put a single Coleus into a pot like this. You don't want to take a little rooting like this and put it into a 15 or 20 inch pot. That's too much, but those pots that you were using are fine. So, all right, so everybody stay tuned. More to come here. Jim's Coleus. Thanks for watching, and have a great week and weekend coming up. Take care, everyone.